Today is day 12 of my 110-day She Maverick challenge, whereby I post every day a video about all things Maverick, and by that I mean things that are my way of being and doing, distilled of conditioning, as much as it's never fully, and that's the process, but as much as I am capable of having distilled it, and then by definition of being so me, I am therefore no one else. And this goes for anyone. It's not that I'm just the only Maverick, of course. Um, so um, so anything that falls into this category of my life experience, behavior, and etc., I share here every day, a portion of it. And there are themes that I cover that are particular to me, that are of interest to me, that I am designed to explore, to to care about, to be passionate about. And one of them is relationships, and communication and language. So today is also the first day, so day 12 is the first day whereby I actually document what's happening. As in, it happened earlier, well, it happened yesterday, or yeah. And so the thing that I'm going to talk about is not something that I've encountered for the first time, but I've done it. I've experienced it all my life, from both ends, on the receiving end and the giving end, being me doing it and then having done to me. And recently, last few years, I've really started. It's really started to bother me. Like I don't want to do it like this anymore. So the thing I'm referring to is when we ask someone a question to reveal their reasons for doing something, or just to explain themselves, to tell us why, but it's really kind of to tell us why they're doing something, without actually offering our own why for asking. So let me phrase it again. Okay, I'll introduce it and then phrase it. So I certainly feel it's wrong to ask someone to explain their reasons for doing something without us first giving them our reason for asking the question in the first place. You get me? And I don't know about you, but since I can remember, and I still have that father, thank goodness. But what I mean, it's like that's how I was brought up by him in particular. It's like I always had to explain myself. Now, he didn't know anything about human design, and it's a generational thing. And but I always felt such a energetic violence in that question. Like someone thumped me in the chest or in my stomach. It's like, that feeling. And it never left me. Whenever someone whenever someone asked me, like, why do you do that? And they don't have to, it's not at all about, I mean, that adds even more of this thing I'm describing, but it can be most seemingly innocent and gentle question, like, seemingly out of, loveliest of curiosities, and it doesn't even have to include the word why, which is quite a thumpy word. It's the word that stops you in your tracks. It's a good coaching question. Having been being a trained life coach, I know that for that fact, but also you know it too, and if you're not a coach, because you can just feel the power and the force of that question, of the why, right? But so, like I say, it's the thump, the forcefulness of the question doesn't have to be because it includes the word why, but just any kind of request to explain yourself. And that is something I've been talking in the last couple of videos. It's a language thing again. Is wrong to ask without offering our own why we are actually asking the question. I really feel that and think so. So let me tell you why. Why I think so. It's nothing. I don't think it's that deep or complex. It's kind of plain simple fair play. And this came to mind when I was thinking about this topic for this video, and the child's play type of scenario. but I have no children, and I'm not interested in children myself or their behavior. So I don't have a deeper knowledge or understanding of this play I'm gonna mention now. But it's the thing when a child goes to another, you show me yours, I'll show you mine. I know what that's referring to other stuff, but it's that thing. It's like, if we are gonna reveal ourselves to someone, however innocent the question is, and however innocent the topic is, it doesn't have to be deeply personal, even if it's anything really. It just isn't fair to demand and ask for someone to go into the energetic effort to explain themselves without knowing why they're doing that. Why should I bother? And then the piece about the person asking not revealing their why is like, why are you not why you why where do you get the kind of sense of rightness and in asking someone's reasons without disclosing your reasons for asking? It's an imbalanced or out of balance exchange. Why are you hiding your why, but you want me to tell you my why? Now, like I say, I don't think people are even aware of this necessarily, in the sense that they're consciously hiding their why, because this is such a normal way of communicating that I don't think anyone questions it, like I say. But I certainly have all my life, but I struggled to sort of ask that. Sometimes I was just too quick to answer but always out of those wrong reasons, of the sense of pressure, or the sense of, oh right, so someone's asking me, I better answer. So back to my current experience. So this person has asked me my reasons of why for doing something, why my why behind doing something, and but I didn't come back to them with I didn't ask them back first, like, well, what is your why for asking me this? Because I actually had a way of answering without answering, meaning this not in a political kind of diplomatic, or what's the other word, spinning sense or something. When you answer without answering, I don't mean in that sense. There was literally, I answered it in somewhere else, basically. I answered that question without being asked. I just offered that my reasons elsewhere. So I just pointed that person in that direction. But so I kind of didn't have to do what I actually want to do. But also I was acutely aware of how hard it would have been to ask that back, because it's confrontational. It feels confrontational. But that's maybe it's just because in me it would come out as confrontational. But yeah, I still think it's the right thing to do, even though it may sound confrontational. Because every time there is a why, and in coaching, in fact, just a little side note, but relevant, is that they say don't ask that question, or ask sparingly and sporadically, occasionally, because it's an intense question. It's so intense. So that's, I think, the confrontational part, that because you just really feel that thump. But that's the point. The question is so intense and so like piercing, goes in. It's invasive, essentially. I think that is the exact word that was used in my training, to kind of say that, to be gentle or careful with it, because you don't want to close the person off. So I suppose that can be mitigated, the closing off, which I feel when someone throws me, why do you do this? It's like, hold on. Why should I bother telling you? Why bother telling you? It's, you want something from me, so you might as well just kind of, do the work. You do the work because you want something from me. You do the work of making me want to tell you, making me tell you, if you like. I mean, that again sounds forceful, but I can't think of a better word now. And okay, I'm gonna pause for a moment, as I kind of went on off a bit of a tangent. Yes, so the last piece I wanted to say is that because I've been so conscious of this for, like I say, my lifetime, and then kind of very consciously, I mean, I was aware kind of energetically, but I didn't have words for it. And then in the last few years, I very much got the words around it, like to understand what's going on, the dynamic and the pollutedness or the pollution of that way of communicating, which is, like I say, the topic I've covered in the last two things. As you can see, language and communication, it really is everything. Um, it's kind of the answer to the peace on this planet, if you ask me. And actually, on that side note again, peace is my kind of life mission, and I'm so not political. So it's just a peace in terms of that. When something is peaceful, it's like it can rest, and the genuine rest is just imagine like in clean sheets in your bed. What a great deep night, good night's sleep you can have when you like air the room, clean the room, decluttered it. Aren't those the best nights? Well, I certainly they are for me. So you might be, unusual in that way. I would imagine this is the norm. This is not Maverick anything stuff. But when the sheets are crispy, fresh, and so that's the kind of peace I'm talking about that can be achieved when you clean up your act. And you clean up your act uh, by one of the ways is like when you communicate, you clean up your language, and you clean up your language. You just, in this instance, you ask questions, but first you declare your position. Why you're even bothering that person? Why are you asking that question? And then ask. That I trust you. Watch what happens. How the communication, how you feel fantastic. Now others won't do that for you, probably to you. That needs educating. That would take educating them or something else, inspiring them indirectly. Or, but I'll do this. This is what I wanted to say. My last point is I have been doing that for a long time now. I can't anymore bring myself, unless I'm angry with my closest and dearest. And then obviously that's just shitty and therefore shouldn't be done, but it's done and I do it and whatever, but I very quickly rectify it. But my point is that, and in client settings, coaching type of thing, I do it as well. But like I say, in my day-to-day communication, I'm very careful about this, and I always declare myself and my motives, because there are my motives. So when you don't declare them, there is a sense that there is ulterior motives. Why are you not declaring them? Why are you not coming clean with why you're even bothering the person, and why you're poking? Why do you want their why? Because why, it's the deepest, most personal thing. And although in this instance that happened to me the other day, this person pre-framed it in like, I hope you don't mind. And as soon as we say that, we know it's something that can be actually minded, like that it's only fair that people mind being asked. That we know that why question is heavy and intrusive and personal. But the way that they could have mitigated that and could have reached, opened me up, and I would just like be happy to share. I did already, as it happens, but that's beyond the point. Besides the point is if they just went, I was thinking about this thing I saw you do, and it made me think about this and the other, and then you made me that, and then so I wonder, why did you do it, kind of thing. And yeah, yeah. So to wrap up, declare yourself. Declare your motives before you ask anything of anyone, either just a question or even to do. Why are you bothering people? Don't assume, even if they are nearest and dearest, even if they are your children. Children are not my area, but I was a child, so I speak from that angle, and certainly the story about my parent. But yeah, so declare yourself. It's only fair, and it's clean. It's clean language, clean communication. So yeah, this is day 12. See you tomorrow.